Hello folks, welcome to the UK Games Expo live stream. It's me, my name's Millie, and I am joined by the wonderful Kate, UK Games Expo Marketing Manager. How are you doing, Kate?
Very well, thank you, Mills. How are you?
I'm older.
Yes, I hear. It was very big birthday celebrations.
It was. I had a wonderful 40th weekend. It was brilliant.
Congratulations, youngster. It's all good.
I know. Gosh, I had a haircut, the dizzy heights of socially returning to normality.
Vaguely normal.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had a haircut. I had food outside in a restaurant.
Did you see people that weren't your offspring or your hubs?
Yeah. From about
how was that? Are they all right?
Do you know, it was a little bit interesting, you know, because it's the first time I've been near like a hairdresser, and obviously everybody's close when you have. And I was a bit like, oh, I've forgotten people can do this. I've forgotten people can be close. And there was a brief moment where I was a bit like, and then it was all good.
It's fine.
It was all fine. But yeah, it was lovely. Are you feeling better after taking the ring to Mordor?
I am, and in fact, I've been quite happy with my my little Hobbiton excursion, which is good. And yes, I have, however, put on considerable amounts of weight. I'm a Hobbit. I went to see the Hobbit parents. I'm at the Hobbit parents, and they're really good. And they're a trifle-based life form, to the extent that yesterday we had deconstructed trifle, and deconstructed trifle means that they bought a couple of Victoria sponges, a pint of double cream, some jellies, strawberries, raspberries, grapes, custard. It's it's lovely. It's absolutely lovely, but not so much my waistline. Do some exercise.
Yeah, I was like, that was unplanned, but I was about to say, speaking of exercise, that kind of brings us nicely to our first guest this week, Adam from Herefordshire Board Gamers. How are you, Adam?
I'm very good. Ridiculously busy. We're doing lots of planning and stuff for the board game world, but it's all good stuff.
Awesome.
So before we dive into how this is affecting people's waistlines and health in general, tell us a little bit about yourself and Herefordshire. I'm stumbling over words today, aren't I?
Herefordshire is surprisingly difficult to say for a glorious, gorgeous county. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, but yeah, Herefordshire Board Gamers.
Tell us a
little
bit.
And it's not Hertfordshire. We've had people turn up for job interviews thinking we're near London. It's like, no, we're really not.
Oh.
But that's a different story. Yeah, so I started Herefordshire Board Gamers about 5 years ago, roughly about a year after I kind of started working from home full-time. So there may be a correlation between me wanting social outlets. I had a games group formed for my actual workplace, and they were meeting in my house weekly, and we're like, well, shall we give back? And the NSPCC did a big board game day. So we did 2 annual events for them, and after the second year, I didn't like the way their marketing was going. It was slightly negative. It was like, are you the rules lawyer? Are you the table flipper? And I was like, nope, I have a no negativity rule and no punching down rule. Sorry, I cannot support you.
Absolutely.
So we then switched. We asked the community, after the second event, everyone was like, well, can we do it more often? Can we do this more than once a year? Can we have games in Herefordshire? So I went, I can do that. So that's when the Facebook group started, and we started meeting monthly, and we voted as a community on Mind, because our remit is to look inclusive community, supportive, social events, and Mind is just such a lovely match. So since then, we've been fundraising for Mind, and we are total of 7 years is £10,000 raised for charity. And I like to remind people, Herefordshire is quite a small county. It isn't a metropolis. We are very, very rural. But it's just more about giving back, having somewhere to be social. And for an introvert like me, which is why there is no camera of me, I can't face being on camera. It has been a hard year for me transitioning into being online, but we've all had to do it. And we've been through a hell of a transition as a club in the last 12 months, going online. We used to meet twice a month, and now in January and February, there were only 3 days where we didn't run an event.
Oh, wow.
We're running RPGs, videos, quizzes. We've done 30 different RPG systems in 12 months. And we've grown. We've got members from Sweden, members from all over the country who are now part of the regular committee, because we're online. Why wouldn't we bring like-minded, friendly folks in to join us?
That's amazing. So you've got Herefordshire via the rest of the entire planet, you know.
Yeah, and we're going to stay online. Even when we go back to meeting in person in pubs, we are going to be staying online because it is inclusive, it's different, it supports a lot of people. Maybe you can't travel, maybe you don't have childcare, maybe you can only pop in for an hour and you don't want to do an hour's drive.
Yes.
So why wouldn't we stay online? So so the exercise challenge came from that. Basically, it's like, what else can we do? We've done this, we've done that. These people I haven't seen some of my friends online for a year. What can we do to entice them out? And it was January, and we were like third lockdown, and people were lethargic, aren't they? When it's like third lockdown is hard.
Yeah,
so it's
it is. First one seems like a great deal of, oh wow, well this is different. I wonder what we can do now. Oh, do all this instead.
We'll start the hobby. We'll learn to sew.
But maybe we can come out at Christmas for the third. Yeah, very much a kick in the trousers. Yes.
So just before we dive into like the challenge and that kind of stuff, before we got into the lockdown, what was like a typical board game night? What did you guys get up to? What happened? Where did you meet, or was it all still in your living room and that kind of stuff?
No, so I still have my weekly games night when my friends came out to my house, but we were meeting twice a month in 2 local independent pubs, taking over their function rooms and just playing board games. I would bring an absolute stack of games with me, and we were having about 20 people on average. And what I find weird is often only 2 people would bring games, and that includes me. We were very beginner friendly and lots of new players, so I was always bringing a full wheeled suitcase with me full of games and always the same games, so they would get comfortable and familiar with them. But we're very very open, very friendly, very beginner friendly club, which has its own problems insofar as people aren't turning up clamoring to play the latest Kickstarter. They're having to use my library of games. Which is
that's very cool.
And
it's also
thing.
I suppose it's a joy for you as well, and your few established gamers, is because you've got noobs, you've got that whole joy of, oh yes, we played this a while, here's how you play it again, here's how you play it new, and it's almost, you get to rediscover the games at the same time as teaching them to other people.
Absolutely, the whole team loves sharing the hobby, seeing the light in people's eyes who've never played a modern board game realize there's choices to be made at multiple points during the game.
I'm not just going to die because of dice rolls.
Exactly that.
Which I do.
And I love teaching new players because sometimes they come up with the most interesting strategies, like, I have never seen that rule before, or no one's ever interpreted that particular rule that way before.
And that's wonderful because they... whilst it might be noobs, they don't know anything, I was like, well, that's brilliant, because they're going to find utterly different ways to do all of the things that they're trying to do, which is absolutely wonderful. And it's a joy, to have that that moment of people going, oh yeah, we can do that, So that's very cool.
I love teaching people and showing them new skills and hobbies. Just at the moment of spark when they realise, I like this is good, and you realise you've maybe changed their life a little bit. It's quite cool.
Massively social as well, hugely so. I mean, a lot of people think board games and everyone being completely silent and heads down and things, but it's the shared strategy and the shared experience where people are going like, oh, I didn't think of doing that. Oh, I should have done that last round. Or, oh my goodness, that's so clever, as well as the general chit chat that you get with people, right?
Or the lack of chit chat. If you just want to be with people but aren't very comfortable about making small talk, it's perfect just to be. It's
be part of a thing, but not have to be ta-da the whole thing. So
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just going to take a moment to say hello to Bez. Welcome. Thank you for raiding the stream. Hello.
Thanks, Bez.
There may be a photo of Bez coming around as well.
Yes, I think we just saw her there. What game are you playing in that photo? Do you know?
That was Giant Zero. It was the first edition we made. So we've actually made Giant Zero twice, Giant Hey That's My Fish, and Giant Terror in Meeple City. And
wow,
they are all awesome. So there's 2 parts of the story. Again, introvert who likes to do things my own way and doesn't care about conventions. So like, let's have our first dance at our wedding. Shall we play Giant Zero instead? We can do bridesmaids versus groomsmen, and we can do a first game. And
awesome.
And we made it out of carpet tiles, and it weighs 6 stone, which is ridiculously heavy. And we never ended up doing it. We're having such a chill time at the wedding. We're like, we'll leave it. And then we started taking it to local conventions as a way of sort of sharing the hobby, advertising what we do, and also hopefully those pictures are intriguing. Even if you don't know what Zero is, you're like, why are those people standing on carpet tiles so close to each other? So it's like, well, how can we bring non-gamers to our game events? And then we then got slightly addicted and started making Terror Meeple City, which is 6 foot tall, and you stand there and you throw beach balls at buildings trying to knock them down.
Wow.
I love this as a concept. I absolutely do. I think that's wonderful. You actually and I tell you why as well. As a film nerd, one of the reasons that they used to do the Godzilla versus Mothra stuff, and they used to spend months and months making exact replicas of Tokyo City, and then it would be the director and the producer who dress up in the pretty naff rubber costumes and fight each other while stomping on Tokyo. Except, you guys have a much more reusable version of that, which is wonderful.
What's really nice, we had some young people, some people with additional needs who would never have grasped the cool rules. On their turn, they just threw the beach ball at a building and they had a whale of a time.
Yeah.
So it was actually
Awesome.
much more inclusive to actually, they could take part. And after you imagine looking at something and not being able to take part in it, that was a real honor to see everyone be able to take part in some guise.
That's wonderful.
I think one of the things from playing at board game clubs that I've discovered is how other people think. Because it's fine when you stay at home and you have your family and you all play Lords of Waterdeep together and that kind of stuff. But when somebody then in turn does something a little bit in a different way than your local group, you're like, oh, and then you take that bit that insight you've gained, and then you can go on forwards and be like, now I understand how people see this situation. I can use it to improve other things I do, because I've learned, and there's always moments, especially at games clubs, where I'm like, oh, that's how people are working this out. That's what, and it's brilliant.
Plus, it looks spectacular. So I hadn't realised that you guys. So I'd seen you guys at Aircon with the carpet tiles on the floor, because so one of the things with so I was along there with demonstrating, but we'd done some convention support for Aircon, and you come along in the morning and you guys just had like stacks of carpet tiles. It's like, what are they doing? This is already quite a nice plushly carpeted venue and things. And later on came back and there's just loads of people standing on these giant boards, all moving stuff around. And it's that huge physical activity as part of this, which, as well as being a massive draw for people, it's super absorbing. You get that great teamwork thing, even if you're in opposition on some of the stuff. When you co-op, it's like, oh yeah, we could do it this way, we could do it this way. Seeing that happen is actually pretty amazing. That's a genius idea.
Yeah, my favourite bit is when you see fully grown adult gamers, proper grown-ups, look at it and you see the couple of seconds of recognition of, that's Zero, I can be a playing piece, and just a giant smiles on their faces. It's like the chance to be in the board game is just wonderful. And again, going back to me being an introvert, doing my thing the own way, I like interacting with people, but it's very hard for me. If I have the giant game to show you and share with you, I can have a lovely time being personable in my own weird way.
No, that's wonderful. That's absolutely wonderful.
So when you guys meet together, do you have like set nights? Was it always in the same 2 locations? How did people find out where to go? Like,
it was the first Thursday and the third Sunday. So it's in 2 different pubs, and it was a fixed schedule. And we do a number of Saturdays as well, all-day events, 11 to 11, to kind of make it worthwhile for people to travel. And we just tried very hard to kind of reach out to the various community groups. I saw a comment in Twitch saying, yes, our aim is to go into community centres and community groups and actually share the hobby with people. For example, in Herefordshire, I don't know if it's a national thing, that's called WISH, which is a directory of services aimed at people with mental health issues or social problems. We're actually listed on the WISH website as a provider of services that people can come and play games and be social. Awesome. So we've tried to be very creative with our advertising. Obviously, going into communities hasn't worked this year, but we are definitely looking, once we can, if we can find time, because we are all still in full-time employment. So trying to fit this in amongst everything else is hard work, but I'd love to go into community centres and places like that and actually do more.
That's awesome. And so you've got the Herefordshire Board Gamers website, and you mentioned like Facebook groups and stuff as well.
Yeah, Facebook and Discord are our two main places. Discord seems to be much busier, much more active than Facebook right now. We have a website as well, and I've got probably nearly 12 or 13 guides on it. So like how to start gaming if you're a beginner. These are games that you might like. If you like Monopoly, you might also like this game. So again, trying to make the hobby as inclusive as possible by finding any of the barriers, like I don't know what to do or this is too scary. Go and read this guide. We wrote a guide on how to play online, like how to start a game on Discord, how to start a game of Jackbox.
Cool, yeah.
So it's all part of trying to give back, trying to share. Again, in a busy year.
Yes,
definitely. So yeah, you had all these events going on, and you eventually we all had to just stay a little bit further away from each other for a while. But that didn't sort of stop you with your charity efforts and your online gaming, did it?
No, we've raised, this is our second best year actually. We've raised £2,600 since the start of COVID, so since March. Our year runs July, so all the figures get messed up in my head. So it's like, so it's slightly over a year. And we're just building up to our big May charity event, which is at the end of Mental Health Awareness Week. It's about 2 weeks before the traditional expo date as well. So we clash slightly, but we're fine with that. Yeah, so
it's all right. We've moved for you this year, Adam.
I did notice
you guys get a clear run.
Shunted yourself down, so we give it a bit more space. So it's going to be online. It's going to be a mix of the usual stuff, and we're just working up to do a big raffle online as well to see what we can raise. Rattling the bucket is always the worst part, but actually I do think people like it. People like giving back and being part of activities.
Yeah, very much so.
So what's going to happen on that special event? Is it live streaming? Are you all on the Discord playing games? What are you all getting up to?
It's just I've actually never really got into the whole live streaming part. We will probably play games and stream it just locally on the Discord channel. So if you aren't actively playing, you could watch, and we do that a lot. We do a lot of Board Game Arena. And obviously you can spectate there, but whoever's running them will often stream for the benefit of everyone else. It will mostly be real-time games on Discord so people can jump in, play, hopefully all free, so Board Game Arena based, maybe a little bit of Jackbox, maybe a little bit of, there are some other good sites, but they probably aren't quite legal to mention, which are very good as well. So lots of clone websites out there. I probably won't mention those, but they are also very good as well. No streaming as such. I think I'd like to concentrate on the people who are with me playing games rather than worrying about people who are outside. Yeah,
so like as close to your regular gaming event as you can, but just through Discord and everything else.
Pretty much same ethos, very friendly, very open. At the start of a session, we will not start a heavy game. We'll play a couple of rounds of code names or similar, and for at least half an hour from the event start times. If you arrive late, you're not stuck there waiting for another game. Just little rules like that, just to make it friendly and inclusive.
Oh, excellent. And this event, this end of your I'm going to
fundraising year.
Yeah, fundraising year. What has been the lead up to it? What have you been? Tell us about the exercise challenge.
Yeah, so this was just yet another. We have raised some money from it, but I don't think it's about the amount raised. That challenge particularly, having a charity tag gets you more awareness, gets you more activity, but it's not about the money. That one, it's about people being together, sharing, motivating each other. I said third lockdown was hard. Let's actually share it, and we were going, oh, well, let's start walking, and we did a load of brainstorming. It's like, do we walk to Mordor? We've actually know how far the hobbits walked, and like that was one of our challenges. Do we? And we kind of got a load of really geeky measurements: the length of Battlestar Galactica, the length of Red Dwarf, and we were trying to like, or do we just walk around to our favorite conventions, all the ones we've been to, all the ones we take our giant games to. And so we plotted a route which was about 1,366 kilometers, about 800 miles.
Wow.
And we just started walking with a soft aim of trying to get to the events before the kickoff. So we started on 1st of Feb, and the original kickoff for Aircon is March 10th, March 11th, thereabouts. We got there about with 2 weeks to spare. Right,
nice.
now down we go. We got to get to the expo before the traditional date. Again, I think we did it with 3 weeks to spare, and we're done. We've reached Ross and Y Gamers, which is one of our local clubs, yesterday lunchtime. And since then, we've actually managed to walk the distance from Ross and Y back to Hereford City. And so we've actually gone beyond our original goal. And we're like, okay, that's 900 miles walked, hula hooped, roller skated, skateboarded. Doesn't matter. As long as it's intentional exercise, you can log it.
So I was going to ask. So is this like, do you meet up on a Sunday afternoon with 6-foot poles and walk down the road, stay distant to me? Is it done via pedometers and laps around the garden?
It's done via trust right now. People can log whatever they want. I think we are going to arrange some little meetups where we can do exercise as a group, but mostly it has been individuals and family units doing it, just because of the rules. But hopefully throughout the year, we will start doing some organised events. We live in a beautiful part of the world. Mm-hmm. Maybe we can walk up one of the local hills, for example. But it's mostly been individual activity until now, which is a shame. But I think that will change as obviously the weather gets better, and then we are allowed to meet more freely.
Yes, very much so. Though now, I really want you guys to like turn up at the expo with the classic 80s style head sweatbands and stuff. It's like, it's all right, guys, we walked here. It's like, you can cheat, you can totally go from your car because you've already done the work. But that's awesome.
We do have a couple of cosplayers in the group who probably would do that. I think currently he's working on a Mandalorian costume.
Ooh, oh wow, that's exciting! Even better.
So
Mandalorian with a sweatband around the outside. That's what I'm imagining.
Yeah, very, very much so. It makes sense, that guy is epic.
Yeah. So it's all been done kind of like in bits, like as a community sort of.
Yes.
And how people have been reporting in a spreadsheet, and you've sort of kept along, or what? Yeah. Like, I'm intrigued by how you've all collectively managed to get this far. Tell us.
I was going to make a website, but I've already got 2 websites for the club, one for the club and one for the games library. So I was like, do I make a website? But right now it's just a spreadsheet and a Facebook group, pretty low key. But one of the things we try and do is when we do a walk, we post about it. If we happen to walk past some pretty daffodils, we'll share a photo. Just kind of, it's about the community. The distance is secondary, the actual money raised is secondary. It's about motivating each other, and if you go for a pretty walk and you see some daffodils, like, oh, I didn't know they're out, let's go.
Yeah, sharing it, absolutely. And it might motivate someone else to go, oh hey, yeah, I remember, let's hop outside, even if it's for 5-10 minutes. Yeah,
I was just thinking, because sometimes I know, like, I don't think anybody would be surprised to realize that I am somebody who would just live inside forever, never go out. But when I had like my RPG games or my board game clubs, that would be okay. I have to be ready on Thursday to go out and do this. And with the lockdown, and a lot of folks lost that motivation to do things other than, I'm glued to this keyboard. I'm stuck at this end of the table. So having your regular challenge must have been a boon to folks like that.
Yes, I think it's definitely motivated a few people to do a little bit more. I went from doing 0 to doing a tiny bit.
And just getting out and going.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
That's very cool.
And then
this is it. It's a terrible like Chinese fortune cookie phrase, but it's the whole journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step, and it's that whole, you're not going to get to 1,000 miles if you can't just do one step. So maybe just do one step and then one more and then one more, and I think your approach to that has been massively motivational. I was looking through your Facebook, and you're always very, very gently cheerleading, saying, come on guys, we could just do this little bit, and everyone's like, okay, and you break it down into manageable chunks, so you're not doing 1,000 miles. You're like, let's go to the corner and back again, or let's go once around the field, or
let's get to Aircon, let's get to the expo, we're nearly there. I was slightly less than settled yesterday because I just wanted to. When we arranged this call, we were at 99%, so I kind of got a little bit unsettled this week to say, guys, let's just smash it so we can say we're done on Twitch.
Yeah, no, it's good. But
And congratulations.
yeah, definitely an amazing achievement. Collectively, you've walked, oh gosh,
So 900 something miles and things.
Yeah, just under 900, I think. It's in kilometers because it's easier. I think problem is we need a new goal. So I'm currently thinking all the wonderful people who have sponsored us in the last 18 months, I think we're going to try and walk to their HQs.
Wicked.
Although one of them's in America, so that will be a fun and wet walk, but we can do it.
I mean, we're in England, right? So we can replicate walking across the channel and, heading over to, because it rains quite often here. Doesn't it? Is that just here in the northwest? Oh no!
I think it's just you, Mills. I'm afraid we've got bright sunshine, and I got sunburned yesterday or the day before doing my walk. But I'll send some sun up; it'll be fine. Besides, Herefordshire is also extremely pretty, and you guys seem to have a good mixture of weather for stuff. But I think walking to Chicago would be good. Who is it in Chicago? Remind me.
I think it's Chaosium. I think it's Chicago.
Chaosium. Yeah. Yes. Really, really nice bunch of folks.
Yeah, they've given us PDF rules for Cthulhu, which one of our the regular RPGs loves Cthulhu, so he'll be running a couple of RPG sessions as well.
That's very, very cool. I think you guys could make it to Gen Con,
That was the other idea, doing Essen, Gen Con, PAX East, and just doing all the other conventions. But I haven't been to them, so I don't know. But that was the fallback plan, was to do all of the international conventions.
Yes. Yeah. I can mightily recommend Gen Con. I'd love to go to PAX. I haven't made it yet, but there's a bunch of Chicago things which are also very, very good. So, and Essen is just enormous, although you probably managed to walk to UK Games Expo and back simply by walking around Essen and actually being at the show. It's enormous. So, but yeah, that would be really cool. Do you have to get your guys motivated for that?
I don't think. I think it's almost self-running now, and people are kind of cheering each other on, and I'm liking the weird kind of exercises people are asking if are valid. I'm like, well, if you can convert it to kilometers, then put it in.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
3.3 kilometers of hula hooping, apparently. So whatever that works out as.
That's amazing. Oh, for anyone who's not used an adult hula hoop, and you need to use an adult hula hoop because it's bigger and it's heavier and it actually makes you work out. It's knackering. One of my friends did a 5K run hula hooping, and the amount of physical exercise needed is just amazing. And they all slim down massively, which is tremendous. I really, really, really like this as a concept. I also noticed that in amongst all of the stuff here, we have a pile of your merchandise, which I love that you have merchandise. So can you tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah, I still got 57 mugs in the garage because, as you guys probably know, to get it down to a decent price, you have to buy far too many.
Yes.
We sell them at cost with a slight roundup for charity.
Wicked.
So that's part of our fundraising. I have no interest in making any money from the club itself. In fact, I probably spend far too much of my own money on it, but that's my problem. So we've got mugs, we've got T-shirts, and we did a celebratory tankard, partly because there's a local beer festival we normally go to, and we buy the tankard from the beer festival every year. That didn't run in July, so it was like, we'll do our own. And so it's just a case of silly little things like that motivate to entertain people. But I definitely have a garage full of T-shirts and mugs.
That's amazing. I can't help but think with all of things like, oh, well, they didn't do it, so we did it online. Oh, they didn't do that, so we did it online. It's like, are you in fact going to end up running Herefordshire? Because, I mean, at this point, I'd vote for you. So, yeah, that would be all right.
I do end up getting involved with committees and stuff because I want to make the world a better place. And my wife will murder me if I take anything else on. She is the vice chair of the club, and she's a massive part of the club as well. I'm just the noisy one whose face is everywhere. Well, whose voice is everywhere.
Yeah. That is absolutely wonderful, and congratulations to you and your wife as well. That's an amazing achievement, and doing it together is wonderful.
Yes, the other thing that we have done, just very briefly, we started a lending library because I've mentioned we had to keep bringing games to public events.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I actually repurchased a load of games I grew out of because I wanted them for the public. And shall we see if we can buy some, so the club owned them. So we got a grant from the local utility company to help with mental health and well-being.
Wow.
And so coming into March, we had 33 games in our free lending library. We're now at 198 board games, 28 puzzles. We've got back issues of Tabletop Magazine. We've got a mental health awareness book. And that's all in 12 months, our free lending library. We've had publishers donate stuff. We've had mostly individuals, rather than selling games secondhand, have been giving us really good games. And at any one point, we've got 54 games lent out in the community right now.
Wow.
And it's
amazing.
wonderful. And people are buying the game. People are using it as a try before you buy service. And then going on to buy games from which because these games are expensive. You don't know quite what you like.
And finding the thing to suit you, that's one of the joys of conventions and of board game clubs and hobby games clubs, is actually you go along and you thought, you know what, I would never have thought that, but that's brilliant. Or even if it's, well, that's not for me, but so-and-so would absolutely love it.
Yeah.
So
knowing what you don't like is as important as knowing what you do like, unfortunately.
Absolutely, yes.
Which is fine. Yeah, so that's been another labour of love this last year, getting those out. We've got one of our guys is a bike courier. So he is delivering games to people's houses for us as well, and we're dropping them off. So it's all through the first lockdown, we lent them all out so people could, locked away in their little bubbles, could play games.
Nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's lovely. I mean, this one of the things when we're chatting on the show every week, and we're meeting all the folks in the board gaming community around the UK, around Europe, it's wonderful. But sometimes I wonder if it's you're just too good. Like, what you've done is amazing, and I don't want anybody, and I certainly think you wouldn't either. Don't want anybody to feel like this is how you have to. Like, if I want to set a board game club up next time we're out of lockdown and going forwards, how do you get started? How did this?
Do you have advice to anyone who's thinking about it? Because you're clearly making a difference where you are.
I have a guide on the website already about how to start a board game club, listing the things that you might like to have. Stuff like clear signage, photos of your venues. If someone's got anxiety, they know what the room is like. Putting your price, if you're in a pub, how much does the food cost? Do they serve vegan food? Do they serve vegetarian food? But I always end my articles with, if you don't want to go as far as we have, please do not feel bad. Whatever you are doing is good. Just because we go 110%, you do not have to. Because I know it's obviously been a hard year for everyone. So I'm hoping that people might take a little piece of what we do and be inspired by it. And I really hope no one feels bad because they haven't done as much, or they haven't done as much as they would like to have done.
I don't think anybody would feel bad for trying to get started, but I know, like, the mountain sometimes looks so big. It's part of what Expo did with the convention support because when you've done it, it often feels like very simple. Oh, you just go and chat with a pub and they might give you the function room. Yeah, but what if they ask who I am?
Yeah.
I'm just me.
Yeah. It is hard. It's very daunting, and we've learned a lot and changed a lot over the last 5 years. And a lot of it is like, there's an awful lot of imposter syndrome in what we do. It's like, well, is this real? Are people going to turn up? Is this what people want? But just be brave and go for it. Awesome. And if you make a mistake, learn from it.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I love it.
I've just put the guides up on
Thank you.
Into the chat as well, and it's amazing. There's a whole list of things like, oh yeah, actually that's a really cool thing.
They're not pretty. They're not. I am badly dyslexic have other things. They have been proofread by my team, but they are just functional dumps of words, and I'm hoping there'll be a couple of useful pieces in there.
Content. There's some really, really good content into that as well.
So.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. I understand that Herefordshire Board Gamers is not just constricted to Herefordshire anymore. So if folks want to get involved, how do they join in?
Facebook and Discord is the best way to find us. We are running lots of RPGs, lots of events. If you're an RPG GM and you want to run a weird system, join us. There's 30 different systems. One of our GMs loves running the weirdest, most indie systems, and we've got a really nice bunch of people who are just happy to play anything, and positive attitude as well. So just join the community. As I said, we will be staying online, so just because COVID ends, we're certainly not going to close the Discord and leave everyone high and dry.
Oh bless.
Oh no, that's cool.
And your Discord can be found under Herefordshire Board Games, is that right?
Yes. There is a bit.ly link, a shortened link on the Facebook and the website as well.
Yes,
there we go.
I'm just digging that out too.
Thank you very much.
This is
awesome.
cool.
This is brilliant. I love it. I love it all. It's like a chap dressed as a Ghostbuster there, I think. That was great.
Yeah.
Adam, it's phenomenal to know that you've walked collectively nearly 900 miles, done a massive loop around the UK, hitting so many board game conventions. I'm just overwhelmed, but at the heart of it, there is this wonderful community of board gamers just having fun.
That is 100%. It's about the community. I just attempt to lead from the front, but it is about the community is wonderful. There's such a lovely giving bunch of people who make everyone feel welcome. And so please join us. And again, I want to say thank you to the team and my community to make this possible.
Oh,
it's very, very, very
cool. I look forward to seeing yourselves at Expo, and then all your giant games at Aircon.
They've been to HandyCon, Dragon Days, Great Indoors, and Aircon. So they've been about, and they're just an excuse to go to conventions, really. So hopefully you'll see us and the giant games. We are starting to leave them unattended. So when we don't want to manage them, they're fine to be played, and you can't really damage a carpet tile. So at certain conventions, they're saying, do you want them to put them in the corner of a self-service sign? So you're more likely to see the games than you are to see me, but we'll be about.
It's okay.
Awesome. And don't forget to check the news. We'll make sure that you guys have got a write-up on the website in the next week or so as well.
Yes,
that would be good.
Thank you. Yeah, please join our charity events and look at our raffle that we're building up towards now, and hopefully I'll game with some of you all soon.
Yeah. It's been lovely chatting with you, Adam. We're going to take a short break to attend to some human needs, refill a coffee cup, and such. And we'll be back. We're chatting with Christopher and Prometheus, which is very pretty looking. I want to learn more about it.
It is very pretty, yes.
Yeah. We'll put all the links for Adam and Herefordshire Board Gamers in the news, so make sure you check out the UK Games Expo website. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back soon. Ciao for now.